And
okay, we are going to be streaming.
3 apps.
Streaming.
We get lots of AAA spam these days.
Really? I don't get none of that.
I can say something to Jeff. He's the spam server administrator.
You know, I've been getting spam phone calls like crazy lately. You guys been getting more than normal?
Oh, no, I don't answer my phone.
I try not to, but just it rings and then they'll call right back and do it again.
My head, my back, my back and my head. Okay. If you can, go ahead and launch your Audacity.
Oh, darn.
Respect my Audacity.
Exactly.
Yeah, I would have been down here sooner, but I had to watch last night's episode of this.
Of what?
Of the Carol Burnett show?
South Park. Then they've got 3 new ones lately. They're tangling with all of the issues.
What's different, Eric? Your lighting, something's different. You look better.
It's Silicon Studio, man. It's redone. That's why I had so much problems tonight.
You're not orange anymore.
No, we got like studio lights up here instead of up there.
Right.
Do they cause cancer?
Even though you can kind of see some stuff through the blue, it's weird.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, go ahead and hit record. See, I told you that Rhino cared. He's already in the chat.
Studio lights cause cancer.
Okay, go ahead and hit record in 3, 2, 1. Record. Test. And Chuck, you're the only one I trust. I don't trust anybody else, Chuck. No, you see more of these streams than anybody else. Between you and me, if this stream does this stream look good? I have 2 questions for you at the end of the show. Does this stream look good? And is it me, or did I see a lot of frame rate problems previously? I completely nuked and paved. That's why we're late. And I just got everything set back up because I'm slow. So at the end of the show, just ping me. Tell me if it looks good, same, different, because I'm thinking it's looking better. I'm thinking it's looking a lot better. I could be mistaken. Okay.
So the title for this one is Door Has No Apps.
So far. My left click button on my mouse is hypersensitive.
I'm really happy that the next word was click.
I was expecting testicle, frankly.
I know. Man, my left testicle is sensitive.
It wants to double click when I only hit it once. It's not. I don't know if this is going to work, man.
Just hit the start button.
I love this.
Right mouse and touchpad. You should see there. Launch mouse.
I think, yeah, okay, but I think this is a hardware issue.
No, mount and then double click, slow, fast, drag it towards slow.
Okay. And then use the test button.
Yeah, the middle being lit is a double click. The outside being lit is a single click.
Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, it's giving me double clicks.
Even when you move it to super slow?
Super slow. I put it all the way down. I do all the way down.
I find on my laptops that the slider goes from 0 to 100. It only counts like from 0 to 12.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, it's still doing it. No, it'll probably be better though. So good, thank you.
Okay.
Oh, I need to see the shirt, Door. What's on the shirt?
Oh, God, that hurt. I hate when I pull cords out.
Track yourself before you wreck yourself.
Awesome.
I got a T-shirt in the mail today that says "What up, my witches." I'm wearing that to work, and my payroll clerk and my deputy clerk are gonna.
What the hell happened there?
Wear things that say "Which witch is which."
What
happened?
I don't know. I was looking at my OBS. It looks like I saw a ghost. There was suddenly a white blotch.
What?
I guess there's some kind of white. No, shut up, Eric. Some kind of white balance must have happened, like right here in my head. Or there's a kid back there that I don't know of that I'm going to strangle later.
Well, if it doesn't strangle you first.
He ain't strong enough.
Who says it's one of your kids?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
How come you never see a ghost of like some 90s New Kids on the Block fan that died? You know, they're always Elizabethan era. You know, apparently there have been no ghosts since like 1683.
They don't build houses on top of 90s graveyards yet.
Right. Or there's like nobody from the 70s. Dude.
Right.
Dude.
I mean, how come you never see a ghost with an afro? You know, it just doesn't happen.
Right.
You never hear Bee Gees music. It's always organ music.
See,
That ain't fair. It's just not fair.
I don't care. I'm not looking anymore.
You cannot recreate. Did I?
I don't know. Okay, we're gonna start this. Let me go like this. Let me click record. Let me tell Mark 486.
Got it.
Whenever you are ready.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to. Wait, that's not how I do this one. That's how I do the other one. Yeah, this one is. Hey, everybody! I've been away. Here we go. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Android App Addicts podcast. This is the show where we talk about Android apps, except when it doesn't have any Android hardware and whatever else happens to strike our fancy. My name is Mark, sometimes known as the Sultan of the Soapbox, Cockrell, and joining me are the people you're really here to see, the DoorToDoorGeek, Mr. Steve McLaughlin, and Eric, the manager, Arduini. Hello, gentlemen.
Hey, Mark. How's it going, man?
I'm all right.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
Yeah, I will apologize to everyone again. 2 weeks ago, I changed the workflow process of editing, which caused words to be cut out because of noise, truncate silence. Doing to an OGG file doesn't work right, and I messed that file up. I posted it. Took me 24 hours to fix that one. The next episode, I forgot to change the MP3 file name in the postings, so 485 was actually the audio from 484 for a couple hours. So twice without these guys, and everything just immediately disintegrates into garbage. So I apologize.
It pays to be behind because I got 2 perfect shows there because I listened to them days later. So it's really the early bird that gets punished.
Well, that's not fair. I'll say and I'll say I want to thank everyone for their patience and support. I had 2 or 3 people tell me that the show wasn't bad, is the way I'm going to say it. They said something else. So thank you guys for that, because I ain't going to lie, I was really worried because, you know, I can't do what these guys do.
I'm just going to have to apologize in advance. I am so tired right now just from life and work. So I'm really too tired to brain. So I fully expect to mumble some inane gibberish, just smile and nod. Because it's just life. My day started super early and is obviously still going. So anyway,
right.
Life happens.
Well, and I'll say this: it isn't that I don't have any apps. It's just I don't have any apps prepared that are new for this show. I mean, I can dig through my app drawer and bring up 20 that we haven't talked about in a long time.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say that's still no apps. The emperor has no clothes and Door has no apps.
I know, and I have a mild excuse.
The cake is a lie.
The people who watch the live show hopefully will tell me I'm right. The previous shows had horrible frame rate issues where sometimes it would just lock up for a minute and not update the frames. I nuked and paved a couple days ago because I can't do it right before a show because, you know, I nuked and paved a couple days ago, took 2 days for the Google Drive to sync back up. Once that synced back up, I tried to set up everything and I could not stream any video from any browser, no matter what I did, punching on it for 4 hours. After that, I just nuked and paved again, and I finished it maybe 15 minutes ago. So this is a very fresh system, and the frame rate should be better once I remember to mute my phone.
Well, I can say that just from the Hangout, your audio sync is much better than normal. So that may be a good thing.
Hey, I'll take everything I can get, Mark.
Of course, Hangouts has terrible audio sync, just in general.
Well, it's one of those things. It's not an enterprise solution. It's only for the amateur hobbyist. And, you know, they don't really need anything good.
So let me tell you my story as to why I wasn't here last week. I feel I owe you that. I emailed Door probably an hour before showtime and said, I'm going to be late. And then like 30 minutes into the show said, yeah, I'm not going to make it. So here's the thing. I have to back up a little bit. A friend of mine works for an architect company. He's a civil engineer, but that's neither here nor there. And they are in the business of demolishing and buildings and replacing them. And one of their companies is a major national bank. And in this particular case, this major national bank was going to be built on a place where a police precinct used to be. So they demoed the building, and on a conference call, just sort of really an offhanded comment, he said, hey, if there are any vending machines there, I'd like to have those. And that was kind of all there was to it. And then like a week later, they said, okay, we've demoed the building. Your vending machines are out front. You need to get them off the premises soon so we can start construction. And he was like, okay, I don't have a truck or a trailer or any place to put vending machines. I kind of wasn't expecting this to happen. So, hey, Mark, will you help me move some vending machines? So I went out there, and there's, I thought, okay, fine. You know, vending machine can mean lots of different things. Mm-hmm. So I took my truck out there and thought, well, there was a soda machine and, you know, one of those spiral, arm vending machine things. I thought, okay, we'll load them both up in the truck and we'll carry them over to your house. No, the Coke machine alone was 8.5 feet tall by nearly 5 feet wide. It was massive. So it filled the back of my truck completely. And then we had to go dump it off. And then we went back and got the vending machine, and it was even heavier. It was ridiculous. I looked up the shipping weight on this model. It's actually 680 pounds. And so it was the two of us. So thanks to a little help from Mr. Isaac Newton, we managed to leverage that thing onto the truck and get it to my house. And it took 4 guys to move it into my garage. The idea was I'm going to move it down to my man cave, because what man cave wouldn't be cool without a vending machine there? And this place was just shuttered like 3 years ago. And theoretically it was working when it was shuttered. It still had food in it, had roaches and ants all in it. So I had to drill the lockout. I broke drill bits drilling the lockout. But anyway, I got it all cleaned out. I plugged it in, and it didn't work. And I thought, well, you know, I'll call a guy over and see, you know, just have him look at it. And so it turns out, even though Atlanta is a huge metropolitan area, I found a guy who was willing to travel site to site and repair vending machines. One. And that guy was supposed to be at my house last Thursday at about 5:30, and 6:30 came, and 7:30 came, and 8:30 when I emailed Door, he was just starting. He sent me a text and said, I'm in the area. I'll be there. So he showed up. And that's when I thought I was going to be late. I thought, well, okay, he'll look at it. It'll be fine. This dude is like a Muppets character. He would fit right in on the the Mr. Teeth band, right? Huh. Dude rolls up in like a 1982 vintage Ford pickup truck with a 2-ton Tommy lift on the back, and he's got 3 things on the front grill. He's got a Confederate flag license plate thing. He's got an exaggeratedly big, not factory, Ford logo on the grill, and he's got a Batman symbol hood ornament.
Nice.
All right. This dude's a character. He steps out. He is wearing a 1990s, like Michael Keaton vintage neon yellow Batman hat.
Ooh.
So faded that it's actually white with just little hints of neon and that 90s Batman symbol. He's got the classic plumber's crack showing on his faded jeans. He's wearing a t-shirt that says, "What the F ever." And he's got 2 flags in the back of his truck. One's a rebel, a Confederate flag, and one's an American flag. And he steps out and says, "Hi, I'm Jack." Yes, you are. So I'm like, A, you know, show starting or not, I can't leave this guy alone in my garage. I can't trust him. And B, I have to watch this show.
Yeah.
So he literally crawls into my machine and is muttering to himself in like Chinese. I don't know. It sounds like he's having full on conversations with the machine himself. I'm not really sure. But
maybe.
Yeah, the deal was for $100 he'd give me an hour, and great. So like an hour and a half in, he's still there. 2 hours in, he's still there. 2.5 hours later, I'm like, I'm trying to be polite. Hey, Jack, you promised me an hour of your time for $100. You're well past that. If you just want to, call it quits, I'm fine with that. But at this point, it was personal. This dude was not going to let this machine beat him. He didn't leave my house until after midnight. And the machine still doesn't work. And I tried to pay him, and he was like, no, I'll be back. Because it's personal at this point.
Jeez.
And so he's going to be like that guy from Better Off Dead. I want my $2. He's going to show up someday and say, I need to fix the vending machine. But I haven't heard from him. He left like a Yeti cup. Those things aren't cheap. He left it in my garage. We went out of town for the weekend, went on a little mini vacation, and I sent him a text. It's the only way I have to contact him. It's just a cell phone number that I found on Google, and said, hey, you left your cup here. It's out front next time you're in the area. A week later, it's still there. I haven't heard from him. Haven't seen him. I don't know when this dude's going to come back. My machine is literally in pieces right now.
The only thing I can think of, Mark, is you do know Stranger Things is filmed in Georgia, right? Maybe it was a guy. Yeah. Maybe it was a guy on that show doing production who came out to do research on older vending machines.
Sure, that's what we'll go with.
Because A, I believe you. B, I usually say pictures or it didn't happen. I'm glad you didn't take pictures.
He might not show up in film,
Well, and then I was thinking, if he's the only guy, he must be rich because he's the only guy. But then he pulls up in that vehicle. Maybe there's a reason he's the only guy. Right. Maybe he took the rest out.
I imagine he's crazy busy because he is the guy. So at some point, I figured I had 3 options for this thing. If it worked, I forgot I left out an important part. As the 4 guys that I called over to help me move it around to the basement, one of them said, has anybody measured the door? And that's why it's in my garage, because it won't actually fit through the door of my basement. I'm gonna have to take the door, either take the machine apart or take the door off of the basement. So it's in the garage right now. So I figure I have one of 3 options. I can either get it fixed and put it down in the basement, and it'll just be a cool piece of Americana. I can get it fixed and find someplace to put it and actually make a little business out of it. I thought that'd be a cool way to teach my children. With a small business thing, you make $100 a month or so on candy like that. Or option C, rip that thing apart and make the coolest smoker ever out of it.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah. Big, thick, heavy gauge steel, tempered glass front. That would be an awesome smoker.
Okay. I was thinking the money thing now. No. Smokes.
Right. So if I can get it to work for, a couple $100, hey, free vending machine. I looked them up on Craigslist. They're selling used and broken for $800. So I could probably sell it right now for $800. But if I can get it fixed for a couple $100, I'll figure out what to do. Either make money or just make it a cool thing. But if it's not going to work, smoke time, baby.
I think that Jack has the truck he drives because he works on something for 4 hours and doesn't charge any money at all.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think probably any money he does make, he spends on vintage vending machines. I can picture him being one of those guys that his whole house is just full of vending machines. And out on the carport, it's full of, and like when you pull into his driveway, vending machines meet you at the door. I can see that, him being that kind of guy.
Wow.
Well, I hope Jack comes back and gets his cup or wash that
thing. Yeah, it would definitely need some industrial sterilization. It's pretty filthy. But anyway, so there's my story as to why I want to hear. As promised, I think it's a pretty good story.
Yeah, and I'm going to reiterate again. I'm kind of happy you didn't take pictures.
Or my reason why I wasn't here last week is a little more somber. My father-in-law died, so that leads me into my next thing.
Did he visit a guy who could pickup truck with a rebel flag on it?
He's got relatives in Missouri. I don't know.
Okay.
So he had my whole family. Remember how I used to be on US Cellular, and then this is the guy that they screwed over really bad one day, and I got all mad at him and left him and went to Project Fi. So the rest of my family was still in that new contract that they screwed him into. So so I called them up and got that all taken. And honestly, that's what you got to do to get out of their contract. So
you have to die?
Yes.
So he was the main contract holder.
He was. Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, and I just paid him, our parts or whatever. So anyway, so now hardware news for this week. Now I'm scrambling. I've got a Nexus 5X and a Note 4, which won't work on Project Fi, and I've got 3 people in my house who need phones. Even though only 2 of them had phones prior to this. I'm also my son's junior in high school. It's probably about time for him to get a phone, I guess. Everybody else is, the little second graders are riding by on their, doing Snapchat and pointing and laughing at them. So anyway, um, I put it out there that I'm looking for a phone, and I'm still looking for one more. So I have acquired via Swappa. Little experience on Swappa. I've never used it before. And I still can't write my review because the unit will be coming into my house tomorrow that I bought on Swappa. So what I ended up doing is I bought a Nexus 6P for $200 off of Swappa. Seems like it's in pretty good shape.
Fair price.
Fair price, I think. Yeah. And so that's coming. And it was the lowest priced one. It was only on there for a few hours. I bought it. Some other people try to lowball. Which I didn't realize about Swappa. You can try to lowball people on that. I didn't know. And then so one down. My wife's covered. I've still got a 5X, which I plan on passing down to one of my kids, and me getting it because I had ordered the
Pixel 2.
Pixel 2. Yeah, I had ordered the Pixel 2, but I came into some money issues, so I ended up canceling that order. Yeah, because I'm really broke lately for some reason. A lot of weird things have come up. So anyway, I got on FaceBag and just typed in, they got the FaceBag marketplace now, and I typed in Google, and every product that people in 100-mile area are selling that says Google on it came up, and this girl who works at John Deere in Moline had this Pixel XL that it is a Verizon one. It's not a Project Fi one, but she had on there for like 300 and some bucks. I asked her, is it a Verizon or is it Project Fi? She's like, Verizon. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I'm kind of looking for a Project Fi one. Well, she texts back. She's like, well, if money's the issue, I need to sell this by this weekend, and if I don't sell it, I'm just going to take it to the pawn shop. So I'm like, okay, well, I could have $250 for it. I give you $250 for it tonight if you want. She goes, cool. I work till 10. So I drove to Moline, Illinois, met her in the John Deere parking lot. She came out, and so now I got a Pixel XL, which is in great shape. It's now running Android 8.1, that just updated today on it. I don't know how the Verizon thing's going to affect it at all. It doesn't have a Verizon splash screen. It doesn't. There's no Verizon apps that I can see on it at all. It updated to 8.1 today. I did put it in the Android beta channel, so it's always going to get the newer updates that way. It does have a thing in the settings, and I don't know how this affects me. And I went to the Verizon store with it today to find out if this is something they could do. But there is a thing called OEM unlock in the settings that is grayed out, and I can't change it.
Okay, from what I'm reading, Verizon bought Pixel devices can be used on Project Fi.
Oh, it's working fine on Project Fi. I just wondered what the difference was.
What is the setting that's disabled? What's it called?
It says OEM unlocking. It says connect to the internet or contact your carrier, and that's grayed out. It's a switch.
Right. Yeah. Basically, she needs to call up Verizon and say, I've been with you for a length of time. I want to get rid of this phone. I need it unlocked. They'll give her the code. We passed a law. We, as in not me, passed a law less than a year and a half ago that basically said they have to do a best effort to give up these keys whenever people ask them to be unlocked, unless they're still paying the phone off.
Oh, okay. And the girl was with it enough. She's like, hey, here's the IMEI number. If you want to go to Swappa and check it out before you come down and buy it. I'm like, yeah, well, I was asking her for it. And she's like, oh, yeah, here you go. So she had just gotten a Note 8. And so she was super psyched, didn't care about this thing no more. Because she's an artist on the side and she wanted to use a stylus. So so far, man, this thing's snappy. The bottom firing speakers is kind of odd, and it's easy to cover them up with your hand. I wasn't expecting that. The 5X.
Yeah, that's like my one complaint about my OnePlus 5 is it has a single speaker and it's on the bottom. And when I hold it like so, my finger covers the speaker.
Well, that can be used towards your advantage too, I'll just say. I'm just saying. Well, I'll say this, Eric, you have the phone, not counting the Pixel 2. Right now, you have what is almost safe to say the best phone on the market, the best camera on the market in a phone. Other phones rank higher in some score metric kind of thing, but overall, in general, Maureen Jerimois, I can't even say her name, Tank Girl with no vowels. She's like one of the most biggest camera enthusiast loving people I've ever seen in mobile phones. And she still touts about how good that camera is. So
yeah,
for
taking a picture.
For a phone, it's really solid. There's still nothing wrong with it whatsoever. And you have a analog headphone jack, right?
I do. Yeah, and I do use an analog headphone when I'm on the mower and stuff because I don't have a pair of Bluetooth speakers that really overpower my loud mower. Now another thing about this one, this is the 128 gig model of it too. It's the biggest, beefiest one there was. There is another one on FaceBag for 300 or 285 bucks. It's only the 32 gig. It's a Verizon one. I'm tempted to get it, and I did offer. I'm like, hey, I'll give you 200 for that one. You know, knowing that for 50 bucks more, I just bought. I think I got a pretty good deal. I don't know what you guys think, but I think 250 bucks for 1 year model top end phone is not bad. I may still go back to that 285 and get a second one, but it's kind of weird to pay more for less because it's only a 32 gig.
I have to ask, is FaceBag a euphemism I don't know about?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's Facebook.
Got it. Okay.
Because the people.
Okay. I just, I'm not hep like that. Yo.
I can't stop calling it now. And everybody at work does it too now. So Facebook Marketplace.
Ooh, Google Pixel XL right now on Swappa, the Verizon model, $375, $435, $460,
128 gig.
These are probably the smaller ones. Okay, I ain't gonna lie. 32 gig, 435 for the 128 gig, 460, 515 is what people are right now trying to sell them for. It looks like you can still get 463. So I'm just saying, you know.
So I'm saying if you're looking for a used phone, don't go straight to Swappa. I mean, I'll find out. My Swappa experience isn't over, but I'm saying Facebook Marketplace is, it's kind of Craigslisty. You know what I mean? There's no verified purchase. You're dealing, with who you're dealing with and driving to where you're driving to. There's no free shipping. There's nothing like that. But it's if you're down for something a little more crude and rude and maybe save yourself a couple $100, it worked out for me on that one. I might get burned on the next one.
Well, if I may, I have had some time with my OnePlus 5. And when I last talked about it, I'd had it hours. I talked about amazing battery life. I found that a sacrifice for amazing battery life is that in the advanced battery management settings, the Oxygen OS was super aggressive about cutting a thing. So like, for example, I have a chess game that I play. It would pop up and say, it's your move. And like 10 seconds later, the app would be killed. I get an email from my BlackBerry work app, and 10 seconds later, the app would be killed. So the notifications were going away. So I found, through the magic of Google, I found that and I turned it off. And I'm sad to say that my battery performance has dropped, fairly significantly. I started using it first at about 5:15 this morning. It's now 9:48, and I've only got 27% battery left.
Oh, that's horrible.
It's really took a big dump battery wise. But it's crazy, this thing. I mean, I used it like 3 times a day for GPS. I listened to podcasts all day long, used it, for mail, and I read articles and stuff on it. Just regular daily use. I'm 19 and a half hours in, and it's still got 27% battery life. It's new. That's not going to last a year from now.
Right.
It won't be as good, but I literally have a hard time finding anything negative to say about this phone.
Good.
It's and at $399, it's such a bargain.
The things
Yeah,
that
and
say the Oxygen OS is beautiful and very nice to use.
well, and the one thing,
Pretty much
is,
straight up.
Is it?
yeah, it's pretty big. I was being sarcastic about the battery life. That's really good. People right now are screaming at their device about the privacy issue. Me one saying right now it's not really much of a privacy issue. We have no proof that they were selling the data. We have no proof they were giving the data away. We have no proof anybody else was intercepting this data. So you are handing over directly to a company you directly purchase from information. It's not as bad as if you buy the phone from a Verizon store and you're sending money back to HTC because Mark already had an intimate relationship directly with his company. So because of that, I don't think that privacy thing was as bad just because of that already existed. And two, the actual information that was being handed over was not personal information. It was personal identifiable information. There's a big ass difference in those terms. Personal information is pictures of Mark without his consent. His personal information, his height, his weight, his haircut, that kind of thing. Personal identifiable information. It was sharing back the EMIE number, stuff like that. So to me, that leak was not remotely close to as bad as people let it out to be. Two, unlike a lot of other companies, they said and acknowledged, okay, well, we're going to fix it. It's going to take a month for us to get all the software done, but we're going to push it out in about a month. So to me, that's not the big of a deal. I don't know about you, Mark.
Yeah, I forgot we hadn't talked about it on the show. We had a discussion about it in the Google Plus community for AA, but I didn't. I just assumed it was on the show. But yeah, the data they were collecting, with the exception of unlock frequency and things like that, were publicly available information anyway. I mean, it was like your phone's, like the IMEI number, which is anybody you converse with on the network using a phone has to, by definition, have your IMEI number. It's like having your MAC address or your IP address. And the other stuff just looked to me like, user satisfaction data, testing, paying attention to how the users interact with their phone so they can edit the OS. I haven't opted out. That option was available from the moment I turned my phone on. So I must have had the update, that they, already after the see, so tired after they had updated things. But I'm still opted in. I'm still sending that information because it's either A, information that is already publicly available, or B, information that I believe they will use to make the experience better. And I'm totally fine with it.
Ding, ding, ding. And that's the gimmick. Eric, I love you. When you buy a Google Pixel device, you are saying to Google, here, let me give you money and let me be your beta tester. There's no doubt in my mind they're also sending back a lot of information to home because that's what it does. That's what Google is, kind of thing. So with that kind of arrangement, I'll just say it seems more upfront. That's the only real difference to me.
Well, I mean, and you don't have to opt into the beta channel on Google Plus.
Oh, no. You're a beta tester no matter what.
I'm always good. Well, yeah, but I know that.
So is every Windows user, every Linux user, every Mac user. We're all beta testers.
No. I'm not on any beta program.
I'm probably farther a beta tester than your average Fi Google user, though.
And I'll say on Linux, I'm not your typical beta tester because I typically wait a month, if not more, to install my updates.
Yeah, and I got 8.1. I got 8.1 installed today because today's the first day you could possibly get it, and it's very beta. It may be buggy. I don't know. I'm gonna be sending reports to them because that's just the way. I mean, if I didn't have it installed like that, I'd be finding a way to do it anyway.
Right.
I'd rather just come to my phone OTA.
Well, and there's ways to roll back with that one. That's, to me, that's the real advantage to the Google ecosystem phones is you can roll back to the stable version of the OS, but also these OSs are becoming so mature. Really, what you're getting is more of an early peek into next gen features, which is cool. I mean, literally half the reason I dig in Google Pixel users or Google Nexus users is because I don't have one right now.
Jealousy.
Yeah. So I got the 8.1, and basically, I mean, I had the phone for 8 hours with 8.0, and with 8.1 I've had it for 2 hours, and now it's just got the launcher with, like, the Pixel 2 came out with the Google at the bottom, Your app drawer is different because it doesn't like go black or nothing. It just uses whatever you have as a background image and just keeps it back there, and it bounces a little bit when you go too far instead of having a little whatever it does. I don't know. There's not a big difference on mine yet. For the Pixel 2 users, it did enable that whole extra chip for the camera that wasn't enabled when they came out,
Right.
last week.
And that chip, I'm sure, makes pictures magical. That's the kind of thing I could really care less about. That's like telling me the back seat in my car is comfortable. Why do I care? I'm never going to use it. I'm a father. I sit in the driver's seat. That's what I do.
Come on, man. You still got it?
No. And with my phone, the only thing I take pictures of are like the buffalo wings, and I send them to a coworker to like dig into them. Hey, look what I'm having for dinner. And that's about it.
All right. So just quick aside. When the in-laws come, do you give them your bed or do they sleep on the couch?
They sleep someplace else is what they do.
Yeah, I've never had my in-laws sleep here.
Okay. When guests come to your home, do you give up the bed or do they sleep on the couch?
They don't sleep in my bed. No. Yeah.
Yeah. They sleep.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It's like, there's no reason for two people to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So I'm staying in my bed and you're going to be uncomfortable.
We had a ton of people over last week for the funeral thing was here, and I mean we offered the camper up. There was room for 6 people to sleep in that if they wanted to, but nobody got that drunk, I guess. So it seemed like they did.
I did have Jonathan Nadeau from Sonar GNU Linux come down, and he spent the night here before we were going to a conference, and I had an advantage. My youngest son slept in his bed. My oldest son, I kicked him out of his bed. He slept in the bunk bed in his brother's room, and then Jonathan slept in a queen size bed or twin, maybe. I don't know. It's big, so he had it good. Yeah.
Nice.
But in-laws, no. Mother-in-law lives a mile down the road. Father-in-law lives 3 miles down the road. Go to your own damn house.
Yeah, there's in that case, there's no reason you would ever offer it. Well, unless they're in the doghouse or something and it's raining.
Oh no. They're in the doghouse. They probably deserve it.
All right. I'm just sorry for derailing there. I was just curious how that goes. So, back to privacy talk.
Privacy talk. I don't have much more to say about this phone. I've only had it for a day.
So what's your feeling? I'm sorry. I thought you were done.
No, I got cases coming because this is really slippery and I don't want to break it.
I found the same with my OnePlus. It is that aluminum backing it wants to jump out of your hand.
Mm-hmm.
I put the thinnest case on it I could find because I don't want an OtterBox experience. That's not what I want. But I had to put some kind of grippy case on it.
D brand.
Yeah, I want some protection for this thing. I really just want a bumper case.
Super thin too.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I ordered was a thin thing for it. Just not much. Actually, it was so cheap. It was an add-on item in my Amazon Prime.
It's hard to find bumpers anymore. I don't know why.
I don't know. You're right. It is. And I don't know why. And I did find, if I didn't do a bumper case with a clear back would probably be okay. The really thin, but yeah.
But the clear TPU, they turn yellow after a couple of months. They're not worth it.
Yeah, it's weird because I had a 6P and I bought a case for it, and I had other cases for my 5X. Well, now that I've got a 6P in the mail going to my wife and a 5X going to my daughter, I can't find any of those old cases that I bought. I know they were sitting around here and never being used. They're brand new somewhere, and the life of me, I don't know where they're at.
Amazon Review Trader wasted.
Yeah. I almost even bought one today, and it says, "Oh, you ordered this on July, so blah 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 of last year." I'm like, "Oh, well, that I guess that's my taste because I was about to order it again, and I already have it somewhere." Yeah.
Well, and I'll just say this: Mark mentioned TPU. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to sound like anybody from your other show over at elementop.com, but you could get TPU in a roll form and use a 3D printer and print your own case. Just saying.
Hey, you could probably download a template for a OnePlus 5 and a Pixel XL and hook us up, brother.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I could buy a $6 case or a $400 3D printer and make a case.
Yeah.
Unless you know somebody, Mark.
But here's the thing, and then you could actually put like a hole in the back of the case of a custom design of, I don't know, Darth Vader's helmet, yeah, the rebel symbol, customize your case, and then if you get tired of that, you could print another one, you know.
I'd like the Google logo to still show and the fingerprint to be open and allow the camera corner there to be all open, and then Android App Addicts somehow. That's my order.
See,
Okay,
that's not me. I don't want any branding. That's what I like about this case. It is black. There's nothing. There's no OnePlus logo. There's nothing. I don't want to be somebody's walking billboard unless it's Podnutz. By the way, I don't own a Podnutz hat. Just saying. If I'm wearing the advertisement of somebody I care about, that's different. But you're never going to see me with a Nike hat or an Adidas logo. I'm not going to pay for the privilege of being your billboard.
Zazzle.com.
Well, no, yeah, but you just remind me, Mark. I got to go in and figure it out because for some reason, Zazzle.com, the hats are sold out, and it says,
Really?
"Sorry, this."
That's where
So
I
the
got
only
mine.
so the only thing I can think is that they might be changing the base hat, and I just got to go in, create a new hat, put the logo in a different hat, and have available for sale. I forgot to check that out. I don't understand that.
So this was odd. I went to the Verizon store. I had a dual purpose to see if they could unlock this thing for me, whatever that meant. I wasn't sure. And my other purpose was to see if, this is the Pixel, right? The Pixel XL. It's last year's model. I was going to go through the clearance bin and find me that case, right? So no, they didn't have any cases for a Pixel, even though they had a Pixel XL and a Pixel on their display. They had no Pixel 2s on the display. They had cases for Pixel 2s, yet no way to buy them. And these ones, they didn't have any. Now, and then he goes to the back room and pulls out some cases for me for $30 that were for a Pixel. I'm like, we already talked about this. This is an XL. So, okay. But anyway, I had him looking at the unlock, and I don't know if he was just playing dumb or he never heard of Project Fi. This guy.
Well, he probably can't even acknowledge other carriers.
Well, he was super interested in it. He started asking me. He's like, so you've got that on Verizon? I'm like, no, it's Project Fi. We already went. We already talked about that. And so then I pulled up my billings statement, because you can pull up every month that you paid, and how much you paid all these months. And it's like 30, 40, 30, 30, 30, 40, 40.
Yeah. And he's used to 200, 300, 200, 300.
Yeah. Yeah. And I told him how it works. I'm like, you guys just better grab your seatbelts, because if you're not going to start, at least acknowledging these people, you're going to be overtaken by them, unless
they're already feeling it. This past year, all carriers saw sub growth or non-expanded growth. T-Mobile is the only one that showed expanded growth, and it was like 4 times greater than what they normally do. So Verizon and AT&T are already feeling it because they're used to their profits going up. Their profits aren't going up; they're staying almost flat.
And I still remember when the U.S. Cellular representative did that to my stepdad, and I was telling him, I'm like, man, I've had unlimited data for 3 years. He goes, well, just get over it, man. You're never going to see that again. I'm like, dude, you guys are going to bring unlimited data back in another year when everybody else does, and then you're going to take it away from everybody else. It's just a cycle that you guys like to do to get everybody to sign up and then yank it out, and then and he's like, no, blah, blah, blah. Well, here we go. Everybody's got unlimited data again.
By the way, I just checked. My Zazzle hats are all sold out too.
Yeah. So we got to check it out. And I'll say this. Most places say unlimited, Eric, but now they're kind of not. T-Mobile did just up their unlimited data amount from 28 gigs, where the other people were 22 and 23 and 26, I believe. T-Mobile now is 50 gigs. And I have a hard time using 50 gigs a month.
That's closer to unlimited. Yeah. But if you're at 22 gigs, that's not,
that's Verizon's unlimited. I want to say it's 22 or 23 gigs, which I'm sure for a huge percentage of their users is not an issue.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right. You're right. I've got an app. If you guys are.
Well, I wanted to have another hardware conversation, if we may.
No. Yes. Let's keep going.
What are your thoughts on? Because I can't believe we've never talked about that on this show. The government spying bug devices that we're all paying $50 each to put in our homes, i.e., the Google Donut and the Amazon Echo Dot and those sort of things. What are your thoughts on those in general?
I think I paid much more than $50 for the one I've got in my
Well,
home.
the Echo Dot is $49.99.
I know. I don't have a Dot though. Um, what do I don't know that it's a government spying device. I mean, it could be. I mean, if something came
I
up,
mean, think about it. If you were the CIA director in like 1985, you were trying to find ways to get hidden microphones in everybody's home. And now, 30 years later, 2015, not only do you have a hidden microphone in everybody's home, but it's not a hidden microphone, and they paid for the privilege of putting it there. What a great world.
Mark, I mean, I think I've said this before on the show. I've never considered my microphone off on any Android phone I've had since day one. I really, this is, I mean, and this is even better than in the house because this is in the car where you may do some more nefarious things, or it's everywhere you are at, and it's always on. There's no, even before Assistant and OK Google happened. Sorry about that. Even before that, I never, I don't even know. I may have even been paranoid about BlackBerry when I had that, but I guarantee I've always assumed that my microphone never turns off.
Well, then what I'll do is I'll counter Mark and say, what's the difference between the phone and them? Because I have no feelings towards them, good, bad, and different. To me, I just don't see any need for them at all in any way or form. I don't, because in my house we never have music playing ever. Because if we do, someone's going to complain about it. One of the other people are going to complain about it. Don't, you know, because what I want to hear, they don't want to hear, vice versa. So we never have family music being played, and I have my phone on me right there at all times in my pocket, listening to. The other day, I listened to 26 hours of podcast. Just saying. So if I need to ask my phone something, it's always right there. So how is the home appliances different than my phone?
So I agree with you, frankly, and I've never wanted an Amazon Echo or a Google Home for that reason. I have it in my phone, in my pocket all the time. The one thing, a conversation I was having today with somebody who has an Amazon Echo and Echo Dots throughout his house, sold me on it, honestly. And in fact, I'm about to go buy like 6 of them because of this one conversation.
Well, then pitch it to me then.
Yeah. So he said, if you're in the basement and your daughter is up in her room and you need to communicate with her, all you have to do is say, Alexa, drop in on Abby, and boom, instant intercom. So if I wanted to run an intercom system through my house, it would cost a lot more than $300.
I have an intercom system.
Yeah. So I don't. Buying 6 Echoes solves that problem.
And would cost a hell of a lot less too.
Right. So that's the only reason I've ever considered it. But now it's like, why didn't I think of that? That's brilliant.
I would say 4 of the 7 days I come home, my Google Home's up there on full blast, pumping music. I mean, when one of my teenage kids is home alone, that it's a great speaker. It's got good bass. It sounds good, and they use my music, my YouTube Red music account, and it plays anything they would ever want to hear, and then just keeps playing. And it's the most used speaker in our house. I mean, the kids today are not into hi-fi like maybe we might have been when we were, but if it's good enough, they'll rock it,
Well, was he listening to Skrillex?
She.
She?
No, I was listening to Ed Sheeran and whatever's pop kind of stuff,
Ew.
What?
Oh God, I just threw up in my mouth.
About what?
That guy. Ugh.
Ed Sheeran?
Ugh.
He's got a couple good ones.
Oh God.
He's got a couple bad ones though too.
Uh-huh. I'm just happy in 3 years no one will know his name.
I don't know. Shape of You is probably the worst song I've ever heard.
One
of the top 10 worst.
Right. Well, Mark, I can say that does sound like a good feature, but then my question is the newest new, the Amazon Key. Have you heard about that one?
I don't know what that is.
Okay, this is to me the only people to really buy this are people living in cities who rent, because I can't understand anybody else getting this damn thing. A smart lock on your door that Amazon delivery people can walk up, scan RFID, aka easily readable, hackable, scan their RFID, and your door will open. Your door will let you know X person opened your door and they're dropping off a package, or you can even hire custom services so they can walk up to your door, ping, and then you get a message saying the cleaning company just opened the door, and I believe there might be some camera involved with it too. Um, I don't know if you are aware of the Amazon drop boxes,
Hmm.
and I don't know how popular they are in your area, but I know I didn't think they even existed. I looked at a map, literally between me and my work, which is 26 miles away, there's at least 100 of them.
Wow.
So I
We don't have them.
the only reason I can say this, and I gotta speak on it like I worked at Amazon and I was vested in Amazon. We don't want those drop boxes. We don't control those boxes. We have to pay those other people to have those boxes put there. Instead of us paying people to have those boxes there, how about people pay us so we turn their own house into a box? Also, if they own the door moving forward, that means they're going to have access to a lot more functions and a lot more money transactions. But I can tell you, I have never in my life ever get an Amazon key installed on my door, because if anybody remotely can open my door, that means anybody remotely has the potential to be able to open my door.
Yeah, physical locks, analog locks are nice.
Oh, and they're hackable. They're very easy to hack, but then they leave physical fingerprints. You know what I mean? The idea of a digital lock to me is just like giving up.
I have toyed with that idea. I like the idea of a digital lock as a geek, but I can't find a reason to actually use. There's no use for one that I can find. I like the idea, but I don't know why I'd want one.
Laundry service.
Yep, don't have. No, I'm not that weird.
No, if you didn't want to have a washer and dryer in your house, you could just have your dirty laundry sitting inside your door so it's not getting wet and nobody can see your underwear. This poor soul who has to.
No. I don't want anybody touching my underwear.
Well, when I was fresh
Nobody
out of high
wants
school,
to touch your underwear. Just say
exactly.
When I first was on my own the first time, I would drop my laundry off at this laundromat where all the ladies worked, and they would even fold my underwear. They would take care of all that stuff. I could go do whatever I was doing, probably working because I had like 3 jobs. But that was probably the reason I did that was, I don't even know why I did that.
Well, no,
because I had enough money because I had 3 jobs, maybe, I don't know. But anyway, that I used to do that because I did not want to spend 3 hours at the laundromat, and I had no way to have any kind of a laundry in my apartment.
Well, then let me go one tangent off of that, Mark. So instead of the digital lock, what about stuff like the video doorbell? Would you consider getting that?
I have no need for it, because nobody rings my doorbell ever. I'm not opposed to the idea, but I just don't have a need for it.
No, like delivery guy.
Well, I mean, I live in a place where you can still trust stuff to be dropped on your porch and it'll be there when you get home.
If you're afraid, you need those things. I'm not afraid of my neighborhood. I'm not afraid of my neighbors or my, delivery people, or nor am I afraid that somebody's going to follow them and take the stuff, because it hasn't happened. People.
I did look while we were talking, and there's an Amazon locker that I literally pass on the way to and from work every day.
They're everywhere. They're literally everywhere. I mean, we've had people's houses broken into, a block or 2 away. I live right down the street from a place called Edgewood, where the locals say if you rearrange the letters, it spells good weed. So, I might have a genuine need for it. I've had $3,000 basically computers dropped off on my front doorstep and sat there for 7 hours. I'm not giving anybody remote access. And then like with this recent WPA2 crack thing, how do I know that thing I put in my door is going to always continuously get updates against these kind of never ending exploits that are going to be happening? And the thing is, with technology moving forward, with all these things we get, it's only going to increase in frequency and severity, as far as I can tell, for now on.
Locks have always been a mechanism for keeping honest people honest. Anybody with a good bump key can get into your lock on your door right now.
I love the bump key. Well, yes, and it's only a matter of slowing people down. And it's the same thing with network security, and this is what I try to explain to a guy. You can't stop anything. All you can do is slow people down. And the question is do you slow them down enough to make them lose their interest? You know what I mean? And that's it. You know what I mean? Because anybody's going to be able to do anything. Yes, technically, you could be walking down the street and a ninja could kill you. Does that mean you walk down the street paranoid every second, flinging your arms around? No, because if it happens, it happens. Yeah.
So why is that attitude any different than not having a digital lock?
Digital lock, you're then walking down the street blindfolded. You can't even see it coming. That's the way I feel about digital, because
but
people.
Does it matter? I mean, if you're going to get raped, stabbed, and murdered, it's going to happen. Anyway.
It's the same reason why I don't buy meat out of a guy who knocks on my door. Because if I need to find him and choke him, I can't find him and choke him. Where if they do it digitally, I can't find them and choke them. They could be in Serbia for all I know. But if they physically were here, that means I got a chance to physically track them down.
Yeah, so I guess now that we've had this discussion, I've thought about it a little more. I would be open to a digital lock when a digital company creates a lock instead of a lock company sticking electronics in a lock.
Okay for that. That would definitely make me feel better. But being me, I would want to have root on that device, and I would want to be able to audit it.
Yeah, and that's fair. Anything else before we actually talk about apps?
So I did a quick search of Amazon lockers, and I don't think there's anyone within 2 hours of my house that I can tell.
Well, not sounding stupid, Eric. Your town is not,
it's huge.
Bumping.
No, it's not bumping. I'm the only one. But if I'm the guy who's bumping in our town, that tells you something. You know what I mean? I'm trying to teach them. They just got to catch up.
Good man.
Yeah, there are certain things that I've come, in the just under 6 years that I've lived in Atlanta. There's certain things I have come to expect as just sort of background noise that I never would have considered when I lived in a rural area. And like Amazon lockers are one of those. When you said that, I was like, well, of course there's one near me. This is Atlanta. But when I lived in Texas, I wouldn't have even considered doing the search. It's like, no, there's not going to be one anywhere near me. So it just depends on where you live.
I'm hopeful. Maybe I'll just, I've got a shop downtown that's empty that I own, and maybe I'll just throw an Amazon locker in it.
There you go.
Will they
what's in it for the merchant? Do you?
I believe they pay you a monthly installment, regardless of number of transactions.
I mean, it's a half a block from a post office. It probably wouldn't work that good, but maybe.
Oh, yes, it does. Yes, it does.
When Ingress first started out, that was great having that location as my shop.
No, man, post offices are not open 24 hours, number one. Mm-hmm. Amazon boxes can be.
Well, okay. There's nobody there 24 hours, but the doors are open.
Well, then what you can do is put a security camera up, and I know a guy with a vending machine, nudge, nudge, and then you could have that sitting right next to it.
Yeah, Snickers.
What would be the shipping on 700 pounds to? Yeah, that would be right.
So the Amazon locker is if you don't want stuff to go to your address, and it makes it really super simple to drop off a return. Is that what it is?
Well, you don't, or you can't have it to your address for one reason or another, and you want it to be secure between it being dropped off and you pick it up.
But then returns go in them too, right?
I don't know.
I think that was part of the deal too.
Well, returns aren't really hard. That you get a UPS label, you drop it off at any UPS location. That's never been a difficult thing.
Well, it depends on how far you are from a UPS location.
Every town has a UPS location. Everybody. Surely even you have one.
Honestly, actually, I do. It's not that far, but I don't think every town does. Do they? Why would they have that many trucks if every town had it?
Well, because they have that much stuff to deliver.
Yeah, I don't know if the town next to me, the two towns next to me don't have it, but we do. So
I came up from a town of 8,000 and there were 2 UPS official locations.
Really?
Yeah. Huh. Now, neither of them were UPS stores. It's not a UPS store, but it's a UPS pick up and drop off location.
Yeah. Mine's a UPS depot. It's open from 6 to 9 and then from like 4 to 6. And that's it. That's the only times you can drop stuff off or pick stuff up there.
Yeah. In my case, one of them was the local office product store. It was a UPS pick up and drop off. And another one, I forget what it was. It wasn't UPS, but it was, it was that thing. They saw value in drawing people through their doors.
Like a Staples and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But what was nice at this depot one time when I ordered a really heavy thing that wasn't packaged well, they called me like, "Hey, this thing's kind of spilled all over. If you want to come check it out, we can give it to you. We're probably not going to take it to your house, but you can come pick it up, or we can just ship it back and say you never even knew." I'm like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'll come check it out. And yeah, it was fine actually. It was all there, but just strewn apart. But it was good. We got some shout outs to give for
Oh, absolutely.
Patreon
How can we not be
this
doing that?
week.
I'm failing on my job. So Mike Deem, thank you, sir, for your Patreon pledge. We don't do amounts, right? That's crass.
Yeah, that's yeah.
But we could call somebody out for upping their amount.
Right. That would be Joseph Van Pelt, who upped his pledge with a comment. And Door, this is props to you. It says, awesome show. Thanks for the great review. By the way, you did a great job running the show by yourself, Door. Nothing against the Sultan or the manager.
Yeah, so. None taken. Hey, you know what? Out of the blue the other day, I had a guy who forever was pimping Microsoft phones to me. He's always had a Microsoft phone, you know. And he asked me out of the blue, it's like, "Hey, have you ever heard of Podcast Addict?" I'm like, "Well, but I actually just sent them a donation the other day. But yes, I do. That's one of them you should use." And I don't know why he asked. I don't know if he may have just converted. And I didn't even know he'd listen to podcasts to be honest. But I'm like, oh, that's cool.
I am literally tempted to be one of those guys, Eric. I'm not gonna lie. I'm really tempted to get one of those shirts and like wear it to work every Friday and wear it out as much as I can. That literally says, "Hello, ask me about my podcast." Yeah. I'm really tempted to, just because I think I'd be gently shocked at the number of people that understand what a podcast is.
It's getting higher. I would say in the last year, it's really. I mean, people actually have heard of it now.
Right.
The girl I bought this phone from, she has listened to podcasts. You still get the guy at the Verizon store. I told him, you know, I was talking to him, and I said podcast, and he just gave me that smile, like, oh,
yeah. Well, he doesn't know about Fi, so
well, he doesn't know, yeah, and he thought that a Pixel case would be just fine for me. Thanks.
Right. Well, here's to me is the biggest indicator podcasts are getting much bigger in their numbers. Leo Laporte is no longer even close to any number one status on any podcast measurement thing there is. That's big. That's big because he was it for many years, which means people like NPR and people like Ellen, I guess, I don't know, are gaining insane numbers quickly.
Yeah, when you say podcast now, people immediately think like This American Life.
And what was the other one? The death one? Cereal?
Yeah.
Cocoa Puffs, something like that. Yeah.
So let's read another email. This one from Jesse. It says, hey, Door, Eric, and Mark. This is Jesse in St. Petersburg, Missouri. I picked up the Huawei Watch 2, and it's my first Wear product. It's about $220 on sale. Been really happy with it so far, and I was wanting to replace a separate heart rate strap fitness watch that I would only use in the gym. This is the first wearable I've found to have accurate enough heart rate tracking enough to replace my Schwinn fitness watch. I didn't know how useful I'd find it, but nice to leave my phone sitting somewhere else and still get notifications. Battery life has been great. I'm usually just above 50% by the end of the day. I'll leave the review at that, but wanted to also reiterate that what Mark had mentioned about his OnePlus 5. I'm still getting great speed and battery life from this phone. I have the 8 gig version. We've been seeing some rumors that there might be a 5T coming up in November. Curious to see what else they will change. I wouldn't upgrade, but my girl is due for a new phone, so maybe I'll get that one and give her mine. Keep up the great work. Battery at 72%. Oh, and forgot to mention for Mark, if you're looking for another dash charger for your new phone, I ordered this one, and he's a link to AliExpress, with a longer flat style cable to have an extra, and this was one of the better prices I could find. It's been verified that it does dash charge. It was about $17 and had it in less than 2 weeks.
From Alibaba, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So I don't use my dash charger because the cable is so short. So I never even thought to look at AliExpress to see if I could get like a 2-meter cable. I will look at that.
Right. And I'll say I technically read that email in a previous show, but Mark, you did it so much better.
Oh, I didn't know. Sorry.
No. You did it a lot better. It actually was it was enjoyable for me to hear you say it. I can't even say the word. I mean, even the real word. It sounded so much better out of you because you said Huawei watch much more elegantly than I think I ever could have.
Yeah, I don't know. I must have been. I don't know where I was at. I didn't realize there was a Huawei watch. You know, I never. I missed it on my radar.
Yeah, it's one of the prettiest. I think the Moto 360 and the Huawei are the two watches that don't look like a seventh grader's digital watch.
Exactly.
Yeah. And mine looks like that. I'm not complaining though. And one thing that I'm so surprised at that it's old. I mean, I've got the original LGG watch. The battery is still good on that watch. I mean, I can make it through a day easily. Never have to worry about it. And actually, I've been using it a lot because I got a new band for it. Now the band, I got one off of Ipon, which used to be AMZ Review Trader, and it's one of those fabric ones that kind of goes back and forth, and so to charge it, it's got like pins on the bottom of the watch, so I have to undo it every time, it takes like 1 second, but it's just one little extra step to be cheap, I guess. But yeah, I'm surprised. Hopefully, the Huawei holds up for a long time too. That'd be good. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, that looks like
a watch.
Yeah, it looks like a really nice watch. Yeah, like something you'd buy at a jewelry store.
So, can I tell just a quick story about my customer service experience with Fitbit?
Yeah.
So my company, I work for a healthcare company, and I'm sure it had something to do with lower insurance premiums, but they gave every employee a Fitbit a couple of years ago. And we have this health incentive account. And if you track your X number of steps a day, you get X number of dollars credited to your HIA. So it's really nice. Like when I take my kids to the doctor for their regular checkups, I never have to pay out of the cash. My health savings account does that, and all from just wearing this band on my watch. And I'm pretty sure it's carrot right now. Later it'll be stick. You know, you don't get enough steps, you get a pay cut or something like that. But anyway, what they paid for, they gave like an $80 credit, which would get the really cheap Fitbit Flex, or you could put that $80 credit to get something better. I have the smartwatch, and it does everything that the Fitbit does except talk to the app, the one app that I'm allowed to use. So I'm forced to wear the Fitbit. But you know, being rotund, the band that came with it didn't fit my wrist. So I called Fitbit, or actually I went online to their text because I don't like speaking to humans if I can avoid it. And I said, I'm looking for an extra large band. I don't see any in your store. Can you recommend one? And the guy said, we'll send you one. Awesome.
Great.
So that lasted a couple of months. The silicon started to crack and fall apart, as cheap bands do. So I did the same thing again. Hey, can you send me another one of those bands? Absolutely. And they did. And that one broke. So now I'm outside my warranty period, and my second band broke. So I, again, got online with them and said, I'm looking for a band. I know I'm outside my warranty period. I'm just looking to buy one. Do you sell them, or do you know somebody who does sell them? And so the little Indian fellow reading the script says, well, I see here you're outside your warranty. Yeah, I kind of just said that. And so we can't give you a free band. I wasn't asking for one. And so he said, well, where did you buy your watch and when? I said, well, your Fitbit. I said, well, I bought it right off the Fitbit website, and he was like, oh, okay. Because you didn't buy from a reseller, we can give you a free one-time, upgrade to the extra large band. Okay, great. But when this one dies, it's not a diff, it's a win. Where can I get another extra large band? Oh, well, we don't sell those. I didn't ask. If you did, can you recommend it? And I went round and round, and finally the guy just said, yeah, just come back here. We'll give you another one. So it was a combination of good customer service and bad customer service all at the same time.
Well, that's better than most customer service, though. That's great.
Right. It is.
That's pretty good.
But it also gives me the opportunity to not say once, but to say twice. Mark, if you had a 3D printer, you could take care of this yourself.
Or if I had a friend who had one, who might be willing to do that for me.
But
Is
your
it,
friend also must be able to also go into the software and design something, or else you ain't getting nothing.
there's a download. There's a template you can download. Mark's not the only one in the world who needs this
I
band.
don't know.
Is your 3D printer printing something right now?
Truthfully,
Yeah.
no.
Oh, see, now
Then
that's
it's
a
wasted.
problem.
If it's not running 24/7,
It
it's
needs
wasted.
to be, yeah. If you aren't in front of it, calibrating it or programming it, it needs to be running.
I just print another wallet because the first one I printed was much thinner and it cracked and broke. So I just finished this one the other day.
Quit bragging. Oh, my first wallet was too thin.
It was so fat. I had so much money in there.
I just needed to get
No money at
needed to
all.
print a little fatter one because
No.
to handle all my balling.
I blame my strong muscular legs on it. Well, that is good customer service, but it's a weird kind of good customer service.
Right.
It doesn't give you the good feels.
Yeah.
Right. I'm kind of stuck there. I'm depending on their good graces. And I really expected them to say, well, just go buy another one. And honestly, I wouldn't have been mad if they had said that.
Well, and I'll say too, you now given me a reason to get a dog, because if my work does that, I'm strapping the damn thing around a dog, and I'm telling the kid to take the dog for a walk.
Take it up to your local Home Depot, have them strap it to the paint shaker
Paint shaker.
for about 3 minutes, and you get 10,000 steps every day.
Yeah.
Not saying I've done that. I'm just saying that's a thing that could possibly be done.
You can
Yeah.
go on Amazon and buy a battery operated USB powered device that just rocks it back and forth all day, or stops it when you need it to. There's such a thing.
Well,
Hey,
then every month Mark would get an award. He has done it again.
That's right.
1 million steps or whatever, a good number.
We do have competitions, and there's a lady, and if you look at her calves, you know she's not faking it. But she gets like 26,000 steps every day. It's crazy.
wow. The feels I called customer service of Project Fi, and that's a company that's all feels. It's like, so I was like, well, I just bought this this phone from this lady, yeah, this was yesterday. I bought this phone from this lady. I need to hook it up. And I somehow I actually, during my earlier transactions with Google Fi, I had an extra SIM just sitting here, just never been used, still sitting in its package. I'm like, so I asked her, so can I take my SIM out of my 5X and I put it in this thing, and then I should be ready to go? She, oh yeah, for sure, dude, go ahead. And then I'm like, well, yeah, all right, I'll do that. And then she's like, and then I was like, so I got this other Fi SIM. Can I just throw that in that other one and then have my daughter or wife use it? Oh yeah, just have her put their Gmail account in, and it'll hook right up to them. But it's like, oh yeah, for sure, dude, like totally for sure. They are super chill. I mean, I don't know if they're like in the same place. We've had guests on that have beer at their office before as on the show. I don't know if Google allows that, but they are just having a good time with their customer service. So they're just, and I wasn't, I was not yelling at her. And most cell phone companies I'd be on the phone with, usually that's the way I am. But no, I've never had an issue with their customer service yet.
So do you think maybe at some point companies are going to realize that you can't crap on your customers and keep customers?
I think it's going to take someone doing a extraordinary 1,000% better than any other company in customer service to garner insane numbers of loyal followers in order to make other companies recognize it, admit it, and react.
Well, doesn't Amazon kind of do that? I mean, they are known as stellar customer service.
Oh, they're most definitely not. No. My wife, as I know, had to get on the phone with them multiple times, arguing, threatening.
See, I've never talked to anybody from Amazon that I can remember, but I've always had decent customer service anytime I had issues with products.
Well, and I'll say their Amazon affiliate customer service is a bot that doesn't answer you. So,
I've just everything's been online. It's like, this product sucks. I want to send it back. Okay, here's a label.
Yeah, that's me too. Yeah, the Rhino in the chat room just sent us an Amazon link to a shirt that says "Ask me about my podcast," and it says something about our society that when you go to select a size, the first size you can select is 2X and the second one is 3X, because people who have a shirt that says "Ask me about my podcast," they're not asking for smalls.
Yep.
And there's no kids podcasts? Oh, man.
Well, that was one of the podcasts, to be honest, Eric. Me and a buddy, I don't know what's come out by name, were wanting to start where it was basically one adult on the cast. All of our kids, we had like 6 kids lined up where they would talk about games and then what it means to be a kid today. What happened to you today? What do you think is cool? What did you find out? What did just chatter and just publish that as a show. And it could have been really cool. But kids in a podcast is like herding cats on
Y- y-
narcoleptic drugs.
If you all you got to do is tell them that it's a YouTube
I
channel.
know. Well, that's the thing. No. First off, it's not legal in a lot of states to just put kids on YouTube. Kids do not have rights. This is like one of the things I tried to explain to my father-in-law. Kids don't have rights. If the kid doesn't want to go with the dad, it doesn't matter. You know why? The kid doesn't have a choice. The kid has no rights. It's a kid. Not until you're of age do you have rights. So to put a kid on a channel, adult has to own the channel, which means then you're liable for anything that can happen to that kid. So anybody who puts a child on YouTube is either unbelievably confident that nothing's going to happen to that child or they're an idiot. And I tend to believe the majority of them are the latter. And I'm not putting my kid's face on YouTube. Ain't no way in hell. Ain't no way in hell. Okay? A, the wife would kill me. B, the other rest of the family would kill me. 3, I've had enough bad things happen to me from trolls. Why wouldn't they target my kid?
I'm a little leery about kids podcasts because they could say stuff and then other people could listen to it. The stuff don't go away. At least an adult, you
Well-
own what you say.
Well, A, they would not be allowed to say any names, only handles, number 1. Number 2, nothing is streamed live. Everything is listened to and edited beforehand kind of thing. So,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, we thought this out.
So if you scroll down on Rhino's link and you look at the other products that are similar, sponsored products related to this item, I don't think that they would really have this, but some of the other ones are like ask me about my corgi and ask me about my T-Rex. When somebody were to ask you, you take the shirt, you flip it up onto your head, exposing your whole midriff, and there's a corgi head printed on the inside of the shirt or a T-Rex head printed. So we could have just a Podnutz logo printed on the inside, and we could expose our massive bellies, not our like these guys got 6 packs.
No, I can go one better. You just shave the Podnutz logo into your chest hair.
Yeah. There you go.
Because unlike these guys, we have
They don't have chest hair, do they?
what's that thing called? Testosterone.
testosterone,
Yeah.
I don't have
Good
that. Must
point.
be an ad blocker. I'm not seeing that same thing you're seeing.
Oh yeah, I don't have. I'm. This is on Chromium that I'm looking at. This I don't have any.
I don't have any ad blockers. I don't know why I'm not seeing it. Oh well. So before this turns into an episode of the Geek Rant, Eric, why don't you bring an app to the Android App Addicts podcast?
Ooh, an app.
Or as many as you got.
I'm gonna bring this one for sure because this is a game. It's called Fingers 2. Yeah, you could take that many different ways. This is actually an Android app game, not 2 fingers. It's Fingers 2 by Noodle Cake Studios, so you know it's good. There's no video
Bad
in the Play
URL.
Store. Bad URL.
Yeah.
Probably because my left button isn't working correctly. Let me try this. Oh, you bad button.
Just add NGERs to the end of his link.
2. No, you gotta have the 2. There you go.
Okay.
All right, so it's Fingers 2. It does contain ads. E for everyone. Basically, this is a different kind of gameplay that I've never had before. That's why I wanted to bring it because you lay your finger on the screen, and I'm going to see if I can pull it up here. You put your finger on the screen, and then there's these cascading monsters that want to eat your finger, and you just basically have to. You can't lift your finger up off the screen. You have to leave it on there, and they will try to eat your finger, but you just have to navigate around them without lifting it. And if you hit, if one of those little monsters touches you or you lift your finger off the screen, you're dead.
The first review. Oh, darn. Yeah, it says from Candy B. It's much worse than the first version. The music, the monsters, the graphics are worse. I like that there are levels, but still, I feel there was no need for this game. The old one could have just been updated with levels or with a new mode. So there you go. Apparently,
I never
Fingers
played
was
the first
better.
version. I never played Finger 1. I don't know.
So just take the 2 off of the URL, and you can compare and contrast.
I'm never going to play that game. I don't like candy, whatever. Just get over yourself. All right, this is my next. This app may not apply to anybody, but it still may. This is a new app that just came out. I don't know how it just came out, but this is called DVD Netflix. It's from Netflix, and this is an app to fill up your DVD queue for your home deliveries. I don't understand where that we. I don't remember not having this app before, but they say it's new.
It's brand new. Yeah, there's been a Netflix streaming app, but the Netflix DVD app is new. You used to have to go to dvd.netflix.com.
Oh, so we still have to do it on our browser. Oh, okay. In
right.
browser.
Which
okay. Right.
You could do on your phone just fine.
Do you still get DVDs?
I am the one. I'm the only guy left.
I thought you were. Okay. Did you know about this app?
They sent me an email saying, "Hey, you're the guy we wrote this app for." Yeah.
All right. And then I've got a couple other little cheesy games I could bring too. That's all. Nothing too spectacular. This one is. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying when you're done, there is at least one app I want to talk about.
Okay. Well, this one I'm just bringing because it's now themed for Halloween, and this is Hungry Shark Evolution. This is also, I mean, Candy probably played the original and thought it was a lot better than this one, but this one is basically it's kind of like the Hungry Fish type game, where you just go through it and you eat a bunch of fish and you can't get eaten by the bigger fish. It's weird though, when there's like water landmines. Is it called a water mine? I don't know.
Just called a mine. Depth charge.
Depth charge. So those are in there. But the weird thing is that the thing that really gets you and kills you are seals, but they call them Navy SEALs.
Nice.
Yeah, it's by Ubisoft, and it does prominently say that it's a British game when you first start playing it. So I don't know if they've got some kind of thing over there about our Navy SEALs or whatever. But
there's a shark with a Mr. T mohawk wearing a gold chain that says "Fool" on it. That's all I needed to see.
You can evolve your shark in this game. It moves into different things, and eventually Mr. T is probably part of every evolution. My last game, sorry, I didn't have a whole lot of regular apps, just games, because I got to test out some quality on some higher end equipment that I finally have that can play games. So this is called Skywave. This is basically, it's like an endless runner. It looks like Monument Valley, but you basically got to jump, slide under, or move as you play. It does have a video, so it's probably not that good, but it's a pretty game. And
classic endless runner, right?
Yeah, basically. Yep. Except for, usually you're like a character. This one you're like a fence. If you ever wanted to have an endless runner as a fence, this is your one. And this one is called again
Skywave.
Skywave.
So I do have to read one review. I don't even know what the review is for, but Dor sent me this review. It is the ultimate dramatic reviews review. So here goes. My grandfather smoked his whole life. I was about 10 years old when my mother said to him, "If you ever want to see your grandchildren graduate, you have to stop immediately." Tears welled up in his eyes when he realized what exactly was at stake. He gave it up immediately. 3 years later, he died of lung cancer. It was really sad and destroyed me. My mother said to me, "Don't ever smoke. Please don't put your family through what your grandfather put us through." I agreed. At 28, I have never touched a cigarette. I must say, I feel a very slight sense of regret for ever not ever having done it because this game gave me cancer anyway.
Wow. What game is that?
I don't know. I don't even know what the game was, but it's the best
game?
dramatic review I've ever read.
What game was that, Door?
Does it matter?
Well, I just still want to play it because I quit smoking.
You got me. I don't know. It was just a screenshot I found on Reddit. For all I know, it's not even real. I just know it was perfect.
Yeah, that's a good one. Good review.
All right, and so Dor, you have an app.
Well, I have at least one app, is what I'm going to say, because I can always, dig into the bucket. This is an app that was brought previous week. Since then, Ivor from New Zealand, I salute you, and he is the guy. I'm going to say it now for a third time this show. 3D printer. He's the guy who's encouraging me, without even doing it on purpose, to have a challenge coin. Basically, created a 3D printing challenge coin created just to ship to people like him for supporting the show. But he brought this app called DeskDock, DeskDock. There's two versions. There's a free, the paid version. He brought to the show. We posted it to the Google Plus. He said it didn't work. Less than a day later, the developer himself posted on that same thread and said he'll support him. Less than a day later, Ivor had it working. I downloaded it. I started to play with it, and in the middle of me starting to play with it, I got a Google Hangouts from Mike, a listener who said he wanted to send me money so I could buy that app. So, completely random happen chance. When he said it, I was literally downloading the free version to see if it worked, because there's a free version you basically test to use to see if everything works, and then if you like it, you pay the full app price. Zero issues making it work. The only thing that I wasn't sure about was in the free version, it wasn't clear to me that the keyboard purposely does not work. So here's the long and the short of it. I connect my phone to my desktop computer. On mine, it's a Linux computer, so I download a file. It's a jar file. Basically, double click it. Icon appears in the taskbar of my computer. Physically connect the phone. Make sure I have USB debugging mode turned on my phone. Open the app. It says, click to connect. I click to connect. I see the icon in my computer change, and then I can place where my phone is virtually around my screen. So then I just drag my mouse off of my screen, and voila, my mouse appears on my phone. Free version keyboard isn't supposed to work. Paid version keyboard works perfectly.
Wait a second. Slow down. So it's not a mouse and keyboard for your computer that you use on your phone?
It's like having Synergy or Input Director on your computer where you connect to multiple computers. Instead, you can use your desktop or laptop mouse and keyboard on your Android device.
Oh, so do you have your phone screen showing up on your?
No. When I drag my mouse off of my computer screen, it then appears on my phone.
So then you got a pointer on your phone.
I have a mouse pointer on my phone, and my keyboard works.
Oh. So it's just like Synergy. That's cool.
Right. And I'll say this is a perfect, the bigger the screen, the more natural and the more productive I'll say you can be with this, because tablets are basically supposed to be interchangeable portrait, landscape, portrait. Most phones like being in portrait versus landscape for most applications. My charger, my cable is on the bottom of my phone. So when I plugged it in, I had to have it in landscape. So certain apps were just a little bit painful to navigate. So I pulled out the iCube 3G Air dual booting tablet that has not been booted for over a year because, it's not that good. Plug it up to my computer, launch the app, works just fine. So
and if you have an Android TV box, that's a perfect natural fit.
Well, for Android TV, though, you have to have a physical connection to it. So you have to have a USB cable going from your computer to the Android device. So that's the only, I don't want to say catch caveat thing, but that's the only thing that you got to have. So if you want to use your full-blown keyboard mouse on nearly any Android device, download the free version, DeskDock free. Download that, test it out, see if it works. If it does work and you want to use your keyboard, pay Florian the $5.49, I believe, and you have yourself a full-blown app. And from my personal experience, you literally get hand-holding personal support from the creator himself when needed.
I missed that it was over USB. Yeah, that wouldn't work.
There might be a way you can do some kind of USB debugging over Wi-Fi, maybe? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. By raising my voice means I'm not positive. Yeah, that definitely one app. The other app I want to bring, Action Launcher, big, huge social media pushing event, shoving it down everyone's throat. Oh, it's great. It hit 5 million downloads. It's perfect. It's this, it's that. Literally 90% of the time when I'm on the home screen and I swipe to the left, the Google Wedge app to go to my Google Now has to be reloaded. I will say I have not had a home screen this inconsistent in one of its key features ever in my life. It's probably me, it's probably my device, it's probably the kernel that's installed or something that's installed that's making it inconsistent, but it is inconsistent. And except for that one thing, everything about this launcher I think is among the better launchers I've ever used, and I've used so many launchers over the time.
That's why. I'm sorry. That's my one negative about Oxygen OS. The default launcher doesn't have the Google Now swipe to the left.
Yeah.
There's a widget, but it's not the same. And I know I can go download the Google Now launcher, but Google themselves have deprecated the Google Now launcher. So I have to assume there's something better coming.
Oh yeah, the Pixel launcher is supposed to be coming, but every version of that I've been able to find from trusted sources, don't just download from any place, from trusted sources, crashes immediately on launch. Because I'm not running a modern enough ever.
The Pixel launcher on 8.1 on 8.1 looks a little different too. I didn't mention that earlier. Now I've had really good luck with Nova Launcher and having the Google Now integration into it. Personally, I don't know. I'm a user of Nova since way back, but it doesn't have the themes like Action does, and some of the little fancier ones, and less emojis too. I know Tor would miss those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you got another app?
Oh, I'm sure. I can bring another one out. Let me just talk for 5 seconds. I will say, an app I brought weeks ago, Skimmer Scanner. I've seen brought up on multiple websites touting about how it actually is a way you can help identify if you have credit card skimming devices in your area. So I feel much more confident in that. The game I'm going to bring, someone mentioned on, I believe, Google Plus. It's called Data Wing. DATAWING. To me, it's a very interesting game. It's almost a cross between old car racing mechanics and asteroids, which might invoke bad feelings in people. But there is no video in the Play Store. Data Wing by Dan Vault Racing, 42,000 reviews, E for everyone, completely free to download, no in-app purchases, no in-app ads, 4.9 average reviews, updated September 26, 2017, between 1 million, 5 million installs, version 1.0.7. The mechanics and physics are definitely friendlier than asteroids. Asteroids, you basically just had turn and jet. And it was very difficult sometimes to do fine point turning or stopping. Think of this as a very retro looking neon racer where your race car is like the asteroid's arrow. Thrust is basically on or off, and you turn, and the what you're really trying to do in this game is hit those perfect arcs. The perfect arc in depending on the turn, might be you come all the way from the outside, from all the way to the inside at the apex of the turn, and then all the way back to the outside at the end of the turn, like that. You want to hit that perfect angle. That perfect angle maximizes your speed and efficiency in racing. So that's how you get better in this game, is you get more efficient in your turning. There's no nitros, there's no jumps, there's no power-ups, There's nothing like that. It's just being efficient in your racing and hitting those lines. And they literally highlight the lines in the track. So it basically shows you where to go. And every race I've seen, at least there's been the ghost rider in front of you. So you very quickly know a third of the way into any track whether or not you need to step up your game a lot or you're doing really good.
I like the backstory that comes with the game too. When it's data wing, you're actually data flying through pipes to keep it back to the game. I thought I bought this one, but I almost it's been a couple of weeks, but I did not. It's good to get.
Eric was breaking up really bad for me.
I thought it was me.
Sorry.
Okay. I was just going to sit back and wait for it to come back, but it's Eric. Okay.
Yeah, I was being really quiet, expecting either my internet's going to crash or it's just him.
Thank you, Comcast.
You know, I have the option now, just recently in the last few weeks, to go to Google's fiber, not Google, AT&T's fiber, gigabit, no data cap, and I haven't done it. I don't know what's wrong with me.
How much?
Why would I not do that? It's $80 a month. It's actually less than what I'm paying now for Comcast. I would save money. I'd get better stuff. I'd get no data cap, and yet I haven't done it. Inertia is the most powerful force in the universe.
Wow. 1 gig up and down?
Yeah.
Maybe you're just practicing your restraint from peer pressure.
I don't know. I mean, the thing is, I don't need more than 150, which is what I've got now. It's at this point, I don't need it. It's the data cap. I have a 1 terabyte data cap, and while I've never gone over it, I have bumped the ceiling a few times. So that plus it's $10 a month cheaper than what I've got right now. I can't imagine why I haven't done it, other than that I haven't done it.
Do you want me to fax you over a permission slip?
I don't know. I guess I need somebody to handle it for me.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Actually, the changeover is what's, I've got I figure there's no way to do this without paying 2 internet providers for 1 month. Because, I've played internet install before, and if they say they'll be there Thursday the 23rd, you might get them on the 10th, of the next month. So that's one of the reasons that I haven't done it. I'm afraid I can't be without internet, and I don't want to pay for 2 providers for 1 month.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally can't. I work from home, and and I have children, and if they didn't have internet,
the gigabit is probably worth a vacation day. I would probably, because you're going to want to just open multiple browser sessions and tabs.
Just turn on all the streams, everything, yeah. Netflix and Google Play, just all of them. Yeah. So I just wanted to say before we say goodnight, I'm looking at the patreon.com/Android App Addicts page right now. And currently, you don't mind if I do numbers to you, Doer? It's public information, right?
Yeah.
So currently there are 37 patrons bringing in $139 a month to Door. Frankly, that's embarrassing to have only 37 patrons. So Door has chastised me several times tonight to get a 3D printer. If we can get to $500 a month, I will not only buy a 3D printer, but I will personally print something for every patron that we have. So there's your thing. If you want a wallet, if you want a phone case, you want whatever it is, if I can do it, I'll do it.
Challenge coin. He brought that up today too.
I think Mark just put it out there. That's a challenge.
Yeah. So we've got to more than double what we've got. And I don't care how it happens. If all 37 of you want to, I'm going to stipulate it has to stay at 500 for 2 months. So if we get to 500 and stay there for 2 months, I will go out and buy a machine and print something for every patron. And you get to pick what I print. Boom, there it is.
Nice. And then the patrons are going to be faxing over a permission slip from Mark to buy a 3D printer.
Exactly.
That's great. That's great.
I double dog dare you. to go to patreon.com/Android App Addicts and stand up and be counted.
And if we get to no, I was like, what level do we have to get to buy a Tesla? Like, I'll buy a Tesla and I'll pick you up and take you around the block.
$16,000 a month. So there are 37 patrons. That is, by a little quick math, about 3% of the people who download this show every week. Frankly, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. That's all I have to say about that.
We should have it the other way. We should have 3% that we can shame every month. Like,
exactly.
Hey, you're the 3% who hasn't given anything yet.
I'm asking you for $1, people. I'm not asking you to go into your college fund. I'm asking you for $1 for this show. $1 a month. It's 25 cents a show. Is this show worth a quarter to you? If it's not, stop downloading it. You're costing us bandwidth.
That's, wow, that's a good way to put it. Because I had to spend some time out of town a couple weeks ago, and I went to a Starbucks. I don't usually experience the Starbucks thing, but man, it's like $3-4 just for a plain coffee to get a large coffee there.
Yeah,
and people do that every day.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, Mark, but it's actually well less than 2%.
Yeah, like I said, quick math.
Yeah. Hey, much closer than I would have gotten.
So yeah, if this show's not worth a quarter to you, unsubscribe. You're costing us bandwidth. You're dead weight.
Yeah,
quarters. Yeah,
we use 10 terabytes a month in bandwidth or more. We have 86 gigs of low quality MP3 files that we have to now move off of the server and pay a monthly fee to a third party to host.
Yeah, so it's time to fish or cut bait, people. Either unsubscribe or pay up. I'm frankly, I'm embarrassed for you.
I don't want to hear this chastising no more. I just want to see Mark get a 3D printer, because I can't wait for that envelope to come in the mail. Personally, I hate to be selfish about it, but I want to see what he does.
All right, that's all I have to say. Eric, what be the salve soothes my tongue lashing.
I will report to you guys next week on hopefully I'll have a full house of Android phones, hopefully at bargain basement prices as they've been coming so far. And I can't wait for Door to start printing some stuff on his for Ivor, and I can't wait for Mark to start printing stuff on his 3D printer for me. That's all I got. I don't know.
Door, what are your final words for the evening?
I really like Eric, so please don't hold your breath on that. I want to thank everyone for their support. Thank everyone for downloading. Thank everyone for any feedback I get, even the ones that say, why am I mean to other Android podcasts? Even you, and you know who you are, who said that. I love you. So I'm not trying to, but I'm me, period. I subscribe to over 129 podcasts. 120 of them never even mention other podcasts. And the ones that do only mention other podcasts when they have that person on their show as a guest. We are a podcast who's in the podcast world, who admits they're in the podcast world and is actually a fan of other podcasts, which means if you like something, you also have to have the innate ability to ridicule it, because nothing's perfect. So when I speak ill about the other AAA, partially it's because I enjoy the damn show. And it's just once in a while they say something that upsets me, or else I wouldn't listen to it and I wouldn't comment on it. So if anybody out there heard me insult a podcast and they take it as an insult, and if you're from Android Sense when you heard me insult you one of the many times I do, this is America. I'm sorry if you're offended, but you have the right to be offended, and I hope you enjoy your right.
I like AAA too, but I listen to it, but it's still good to know that we were AAA first, and we've been around longer than that.
And we have more episodes, and we have more apps. Yeah.
Well, the more episodes was kind of a cheat because you were doing 3 a week there for a while.
It doesn't matter. I remember when Android App Addicts started, and I remember when All About Android started, and one was definitely behind the other.
Well, and the only truth is, this podcast got much better than the other podcast over time because, they started with, $20,000 switchers and stuff. So,
Mhm.
we had more ground to make up.
There you
We
go.
started
We
with
get the most
DVD.
improved award.
Yeah, exactly. Doo-doo-doo.
All right, so your apps tonight were Fingers 2 by Noodle Cake Studios, DVD Netflix by Netflix, although it says DVD.com. Hungry Shark Evolution by Ubisoft Entertainment. Skywave by Nanovation. DeskDock Free by Florian Droschbacher. And Data Wing by Dan Vogt. So a short list, but I think we had we compensated you in other ways tonight with interesting banter.
And I'll just throw it out there. If I only got I think one piece of feedback saying that the solo show was good. If you guys enjoyed the solo show, let me know. And I have no problem doing more content for Patreon members. Nudge, nudge, know what I mean?
Yeah, we've officially gone so long that my calendar event ended and my phone is no longer muted. So
Oh,
apologize. I heard that email come through.
That's one way to gauge it.
thank you, Mark.
My pleasure, folks. Glad to be back with you, and we'll see you next week because that's it for this episode of Android App Addicts. Pay for what you like.
I don't do Patreon. I actually sent some PayPal. I PayPal'd Xavier the other day. You were trying to hit him. He gave on our Patreon. I wanted to give it back because I bought his app a long time ago, and I was just like, it's a one-time thing kind of thing.
We're still streaming. Can I ask you a personal question?
Mhm.
How much?
$15, but then it got
Okay.
translated into euros.
That's okay.
It'll be like 12 or whatever currency he's in.
Right. Well,
Italy.
Well, I'm not trying to insult you. The reason I ask is because we have set up the $1 donation thing for Podnutz. For every $1, PayPal takes 32 cents,
Yeah, it's crazy.
which I didn't realize, or I would have never set up a $1 thing.
And
Because
right
if
now, talking to you now, you don't have to give through Patreon, and you're not dead weight. I'm only chastising the dead weight. Just saying.
Well, yeah, and I'll say, you will always have a way to access any of the content that is exclusive to anybody else. And here's the easy way for the people watching this part of the live stream. Any show's Patreon content will also always be available to the people on the Mattermost server. If you want access to the Mattermost server, just shoot me an email. I got to shoot you an email invite. And what happens is in that server, we have rooms for all the shows and stuff. So anything that gets posted to the Patreon for that show, I'll also post back in that channel. So you'll always be able to access everything. It won't be behind a paywall. It'll be behind what I call a fan wall. To where if you're a fan, you know about the Mattermost, you ask for access, you have access to all that content.
If you've drank a beer with Door, you can get into that.
That's a lot of people, Eric.
Well, if you've drank a beer with Door, Door would still talk to you again.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I'd always give Rhino stuff. I've drank beer with him a couple times now, I think. Haven't sung karaoke, though, and I know he's mad at me for that, so I got to fix that sometime.
Man, I don't know if I could ever sing karaoke now that there's a video camera on everybody's phone. I think I no.
I will, only because I know it's going to be so non-spectacular in either way that no one will ever record it. It's not worth it.
Yeah, we were lucky to grow up in a time before every stupid thing we did was immortalized forever.
Oh,
Yeah.
So lucky.
Let me stop my audacity finally. Oh man, this chair is really hurt. I'm gonna have to go get a new chair. This chair is killing my butt. I've been trying not to move because
Get a ball.
I do not feel safe on a ball, Mike. And so here's the question I didn't want to ask because I think it would be too much America centric and not enough people would have got it. Did the guy who came and worked on your thing, did he by any chance sound like Boomhauer?
Yes. Yes.
I ain't saying found this one back
How
right
can
there,
you be the
man.
only one?
Other places want to install vending machines in your business and they'll service their own, but nobody wants to service a vending machine they don't own.
Oh, like freelance.
Right.
Okay, that definitely makes sense. I can definitely say that one. Oh man, I gotta get.
I really wanted to take a video of this guy just, as like photographic video evidence that humans like this do exist, that beings like this do exist. But I was frankly afraid of what he might do.
Yeah.
He told me, he asked me what I did. I told him to say what I do is a difficult thing. So I just said, I'm a software engineer. Yeah. And he said, I don't even know how to use a computer. Wow. Okay.
And all you can say is, I'm not shocked.
Yeah.
That's when you say, can I get one of them selfie pictures with you? Can I get one of them movie selfie pictures? Because I'm sure he knows about selfie pictures and putting dogs on people, dog ears on people.
I hope he comes back.
If it's a genuine Yeti cup, he'll be back.
Does it say Yeti? Does it say Yeti?
It does. Yeah, it says Yeti on it.
Yeah.
And it's got the plastic handle, the aftermarket
$8.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like $40. I'm terrified to restart this session, so I'm pretty sure that means it's going to log me out, so I'm not restarting my session.
Oh, and I haven't stopped my Audacity yet.
All right, so any show title suggestions in the chat room there?
Well, Josh wasn't there again.
Rhino says karaoke is awesome. So is that the show title?
No, because nobody else will get it. Mention karaoke in the show. The only show title the only show title I saw I put there in quotes. Nobody wants to touch your underwear.
Yeah, that's a good one.
There you go. That's good.
Export. Public audio. Bang, 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 bang. Bang, bang.
Wow, that's crazy loud.
What is that?
I loaded the Data Wing game. And
yeah.
Wow.
Best experienced with headphones.
Best experience with mute on. No, I don't want to link up to a Google account. Stop asking me.
Well, do you have Google Games installed?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because if you have Google Games installed, it will always, in air quotes, bug you for that. It will always remind you, hey, do you want to connect? Hey, do you want to connect? Where if you uninstall it, it will just ask you, like, I think 3 times and then never ask you again. That's, to me, the perfect use case of an app that I now hibernate. Using that app that I brought to the show called Space Up, all one word, where it basically uninstalls the app, backs up the APK, and replaces the app with a black and white icon of the same thing, to where you tap that and then it reinstalls the application.
Seems interesting.
It is.
Settings?
So, well, on some apps it will not remember the data with the app. Some apps it does. It's, I don't want to say random, but it depends on how they coded it, kind of thing. I've had good luck with it so far. The only odd thing is when the app is hibernated and then you get an app update. Oh yeah, doesn't seem to really like that. Oh, it acts a little funny. Like it goes through the update process and at the very end it says update failed. Then if you try to restore the application, it disappears from your phone. So it isn't perfect.
All right, guys, I need to go to bed. I'm going to fall asleep, so I might as well do it in bed. So
I should hope so.
see you later.
All right, man. Be safe.
Later.
Thanks, Mark. Good to see you. Well, the Kennedy files came out today. They actually came out.
The dead Kennedys?
The dead.
Oh, no. The
file.
JFK.
Yeah.
How much of it?
I don't know. It says I was just reading here. It says JFK files, though incomplete, are a treasure trove for answer seekers.
I can't believe they actually did that. I swore
Yeah.
they weren't going to let it come out.
Well, though incomplete. Yeah, we didn't talk about the Pixel 2 XL display and all of its issues.
Well, that's because it's a non-issue. It's going to be.
Some of it's kind of real.
It's going to be. Well, no.
I saw a screenshot of a guy who, like, the corner. Did you see the corner of his rounded corner was just black?
Oh, I'm sure, but I'm also sure anybody who got one, Google's going to replace it for free, and I'm also sure in less than a couple weeks, you're not going to be able to buy those anymore. They're going to have it all fixed. So, I mean, it's an issue, but it's not going to be an issue that's going to tarnish anything or change anyone's mind or anything like that. It's just going to, they'll have it fixed. Just a question of how long. A week, a month, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It ain't going to take long.
Right.
Okay, so can I just drag this over to here? Oh, yeah. Oh, you son of a man. No, you teased me. You teased me. Okay, so. Okay, I got those 2 files. Well, that's weird. I just got a message from InSync said that Matthew Williams modified the document. Considering he's been dead for like 8 months, that's kind of weird.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Maybe his Twitter got hacked.
You don't use that one anyway.
That
dual boot computer. Is that what that was?
What?
I thought that was your dual boot laptop falling over.
No. Beta testers. Kill the feed. Kill the stream. Click